Good morning, guys. Hope you're all good. You've got the sunshine here this morning, which always makes me happy. I hope you're feeling good too. And if you're not feeling good, then we have yoga to help us feel good. So we're going to be working a little bit with hamstrings this morning. So hamstrings can get very tight. So we're going to take it nice and slowly, and it'll be a nice, slow and grounding class. So having said that, we're going to start on our back body. So just coming to lie down, you can come into your constructive rest pose. So just having the knees bent, feet out to the very edges of the mat, and just allowing the knees to fall in and rest against each other. You can place either the hands on the belly, maybe one hand on heart center, one hand on belly, or just bringing the backs of the hands to rest on the ground, palms face up. So whichever you feel you're called to do this morning, I'm going to place my hands on the belly, bringing the index finger and thumb together into the yoni mudra, placing it over the navel, the sacral chakra. So just taking these first few moments just to come into your stillness here, just allowing the body to settle on the earth. Beginning to bring your focus to the soles of the feet, maybe giving the toes a little bit of a wriggle. And just allowing the four corners of the feet just to release down into the earth. And beginning to move up the body towards the hips and the sacrum, allowing this part of the body just to grow heavy and release down. To release the lower back, the middle back, upper back, the shoulders, just allowing the shoulders to roll out to the sides, releasing the backs of the arms, back of the neck, and the back of the head. And just allowing the whole of your body just to be supported by the earth. Time, just allowing yourself to drop a little deeper into your body. And just coming back to your reason for practicing yoga. It's a question I often ask myself, why am I practicing yoga? And noticing what answer comes up for you. Maybe it's your quiet time for you. Maybe it's to simply move your body. Maybe it's to calm the mind. And when I ask myself that question, why do I practice yoga? A simple answer comes up for me, and that is to feel better. Just simply to feel better in my body and in my mind. What is your reason to practice yoga? What brings you to your mat? Just gently now beginning to bring awareness to your breath, noticing how your breath moves through your body this morning. If you have the hands on the body, maybe you're more aware of the rise on the inhale and the fall on the exhale. Just taking a few conscious breaths as you're here in your stillness. Gently now, beginning to bring a little movement into the body, just gently turning the head from left to right. Maybe bringing the arms up overhead, lengthening out through the legs, coming into a nice full body stretch, reaching up through the fingertips, pointing down to the toes, out through the heels. Be bringing some gentle circles into the wrists. Just taking any movements here that just help you sink a little deeper into the body, feel a little bit more present. And then when you're ready, just beginning to bend the knees now. Bringing the soles of the feet onto the floor. And we're going to lift that left foot to start with, interlacing the fingers at the back of that left thigh. Be pointing through the toes, pointing through the heels. Just noticing how the back of that left leg feels. And then beginning to lengthen out through that right leg now, bringing that right heel to ground into the earth. As you inhale, bring the forehead up towards that left knee, gently drawing that left knee in towards the forehead. So noticing how those hamstrings are this morning. We always feel a little tighter in the body first thing, so no forcing here. Just enjoying these simple stretches. And on the exhale, walking the hand back down, releasing the head down. Actually leave that right foot extended, right leg extended for the moment. I want you to bend that left knee now and hug that left knee in towards the chest. This is called our half cradle pose in yin. Nice deep belly breaths here. And as you exhale, releasing that left foot down onto the floor. Keeping that left knee bent, you're going to inhale to lift that right leg now. Interlacing the fingers at the back of the right leg as you lengthen that left leg. Grounding that left heel into the earth. Just pointing through the toes and through the heel of that right foot. Just helping to wake up the back of that right leg. And as you inhale, bringing the forehead towards that right knee. Just be nice and gentle here, noticing how the right hamstrings are feeling. Deep belly breaths. And on the exhale, walking the hands all the way back down, releasing the head down, bending the knee and just drawing the knee in towards the torso again, coming into a half cradle pose on the other side. Nice deep belly breaths here. And then releasing that right foot down onto the floor. Bending that left knee now and giving both knees a hug into the chest. Just gently rocking from side to side, easing out the sacrum. And bring the hands to the backs of the thighs on the inhale. Just coming to a seated position. I'm going to lengthen out through the legs now, coming into a forward fold, making sure you're on the sit bones. Heels are grounded into the earth. I'm going to inhale to bring fingertips to sky, and as you exhale, you're hinging at the hips. You can bring a little micro bend into the knees, so you're not locking out the back of the knees, and just allowing the hands to fall where they do, whether that's on the knees, the shins, or the ankles. Keeping your gaze on the toes. See if you can lift a little bit more out of the hips now, feeling that nice length in the spine. Taking some deep breaths. See if you can breathe a little deeper into the back body here. Lovely. As you inhale, coming back to your center, you're going to bring the hands behind you, spreading out through the fingers, nice L shape with the index finger and thumb. We're going to bend both knees, soles of the feet are on the floor, about hip distance apart. And as you inhale, you're lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. Option to keep your gaze on the knees or bring your gaze up towards the ceiling here. Staying nice and strong in the shoulders. And as you exhale, releasing the hips all the way back down. Lengthening out through those legs again. We're coming into one more forward fold. Fingertips to sky. Exhale as you hinge at the hips. Bringing the hands down onto the shins or the ankles. See if rather than rounding the spine, you can begin to lift up out of the hips. Slide those shoulder blades down the back. And that nice length in the spine here. 2 deep belly breaths. Lovely. We're going to come all the way back to center. Hands behind us, spreading the hands. This time we're coming into our reverse plank. Big toes together. Inhaling to lift hips to sky. Drawing soles of the feet down to the earth. Keeping the gaze up at the ceiling. Staying nice and strong in those shoulders. And on the exhale, releasing all the way back down. We're going to cross the legs now and roll over into our tabletop. Bring in those wrist creases underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. We're going to extend out through that right leg, pressing the ball of that right foot down into the earth. Getting that nice stretch now at the back of that right leg. Nice deep inhale to find that length in the spine. And as you exhale, bring your gaze over that right shoulder towards that right heel. Lengthening out through the left side body. Inhaling to come all the way back to centre, releasing that right knee down. And extend out through that left leg now. Pushing into the left sole of the foot. Find that nice length at the back of that left leg. Bringing your gaze between the thumbs, find that length in the spine, and as you exhale, bring your gaze over that left shoulder towards that left heel, finding that nice length now in the right side body. And then coming all the way to centre, releasing your left knee down into your tabletop. We'll inhale to release belly, draw chin to sky, coming into our cow spine. As you exhale, tucking tailbone under, drawing chin to chest, pushing the earth away, coming into your cat spine. Inhale to release belly down, draw chin to sky. Exhale, drawing chin to chest, navel to spine. Just taking one more like this. Coming back to meet in your tabletop, we're going to tuck the toes under, push up into your downward facing dog. Gently pedaling out through those knees, through those feet, should I say. Bringing the gaze underneath the armpits. Lovely. And then bringing both legs nice and still now. Feet are hip distance apart. Drawing those heels down to the earth. Getting that lovely stretch at the back of the legs. As you inhale, we're going to keep the legs straight, but just lift the heels, lift the hips. And as you exhale, press down into the heels. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale to lift the heels and the hips. Exhale to release down. 1 more time. Two, last knee. Next inhale, we're going to lift that right foot to sky, 3-legged dog, pushing out to that right heel, toes pointing down to the earth, bending that right knee, stepping that right foot through. Coming into our low lunge here, keeping fingertips on the earth, drawing the chest through, lifting the gaze, find that nice length in the spine. Couple of deep belly breaths here, just noticing how that right hip is. And we're going to come into our half splits here. So keeping the hands where they are if you can. You're drawing that right hip back, coming onto that right heel, so you're lifting the sole of that right foot. Really plugging that right femur into that hip socket. As you inhale, you're coming forward, low lunge, drawing the chest through, lifting the gaze. That 2 more times. Exhaling to draw the right hip back. Forehead to knee if that feels comfortable. Feeling that stretch in the back of the legs. Inhaling forward, low lunge, lift the gaze. We'll do that 1 last time. Drawing that right hip back, forehead to knee. Inhaling forward, back into your low lunge. We're going to inhale, fingertips to sky. Drawing the arms alongside the ears, nice side body stretch. That same movement, but a little further away from the ground now. So as we exhale, we're drawing that right hip back, straightening that right leg, coming onto that right heel. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale to draw that right hip back, coming onto that right heel as you flex the foot. Inhale, low lunge. 1 last time. breath here, and then we're going to bring the hands down to the floor, stepping that left foot forward, forward fold. Nice gentle bend in the knees, coming into your ragdoll pose, and gently just sway from side to side here, allowing the whole of the upper body to be nice and heavy. Letting go of any tension here. And then coming back to your centre, we're going to inhale, palms or hands onto the shins. Find that nice length in the legs, length in the spine. Keeping the gaze down at the top of the mat. Exhaling to release down, forward fold. Inhale to sweep fingertips all the way to sky, palms together. Exhale down to heart centre. Taking 2 breaths here. Grounding down into the soles of the feet. We're going to inhale to sweep fingertips to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back into your downward facing dog. And come to our first slow vinyasa. We're going to draw shoulders over wrists, high plank. Release the knees down, half plank. Bend the elbows, bringing chin and chest down to the earth. Lifting into our baby cobra. Keeping those elbows drawn in close to the rib cage. Pressing those hip bones down into the ground. Tucking toes under. Pushing all the way back, downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. Next inhale, we're lifting left foot to sky, 3-legged dog. Bending that left knee, stepping that left foot through, low lunge. Keeping fingertips on the earth, left knee stacked over left ankle. Drawing the chest through and finding that length in the spine. Deep belly breaths. From here, we're going to come into our half split. So keeping the hands where they are, you're drawing that left hip back. So you're on that left heel, lifting the sole of that left foot. Inhaling forward, low lunge, lifting the gaze. 2 more times. Exhaling to draw that left hip back. Maybe bringing the forehead down to the left knee. Inhaling forward, low lunge, lifting the gaze. And then coming back again, one last time here, bringing the forehead to the knee. Inhaling forward, bringing fingertips to sky, arms alongside the ears. You want a nice stretch in the side body. And as we exhale, we're drawing that left hip back, coming onto that left heel, flexing that left foot. Inhaling forward, low lunge. We'll do that 2 more times. Exhaling to draw back. Inhaling forward. Nice fluid movements here. Exhaling to come back. Inhaling to come forward. Lovely. Bringing the hands down to the earth or stepping that right foot forward. Back into our forward fold here. This time, see if you can bring the hands behind the legs, behind the knees. Taking hold of the opposite elbow here. Keep that generous bend in the knees. Allow the neck to be nice and relaxed here. And if you want, you can try straighten the legs. Just try lifting the hip bones, the sit bones really high. It's quite a strong hamstring stretch here. Nice deep belly breaths. Lovely. Bending the knees, releasing the elbows. Inhaling hands onto shins. Find that length in the spine, length in the legs. Exhale, forward fold. We're inhaling to sweep fingertips to sky, palms together. Exhaling down to heart center. Taking 2 breaths here. And then bringing the hands, the arms alongside the body. So keep that right foot where it is, and you're going to step that left foot back, but not too far. We're coming into a pyramid pose here. Pyramid poses are really good for hamstring stretches. So the right foot's pointing forward, left foot slightly pointing out. You'll notice that left hip starts to pull back. So see if you can draw that right hip back, left hip forward. So you're squaring the hips to the top of the mat. I'm going to bring the back of that right hand onto the sacrum, and we're going to inhale, left fingertips to sky. So doing that nice side body stretch here. As you exhale, you're going to hinge at the hips, coming down for 4, 3, 2, 1. So make sure you're not locking out that knee. You can bring a little micro bend into that knee. Fingertips might touch the floor, they might not. If they're hovering, that's okay. We're going to come up again now for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause it at the top. We'll do that one more time. Nice inhale to reach. Exhale to hinge. 4, 3, 2, 1. Taking a moment to pause here. Make sure you're not locking that knee out. You're protecting that knee with a micro bend. As you inhale, we're coming up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Keeping that left arm raised. You're raising the right arm now. So we're going to do it with both arms. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. So fingertips might come to the earth, hands might hover. If you do have blocks, you can bring hands onto the blocks either side of the feet. Nice little micro bend into that right knee, drawing the forehead towards that knee, feeling that hamstring stretch here. We're going to inhale to lengthen, lifting the gaze, and that lengthen the spine. Exhale again, bringing the forehead back down. And with the feet, I find it's helpful if you feel like the feet are pulling apart from each other, so really engaging the legs here. We're going to come up now for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. We're going to release the arms down behind the back, taking hold of the opposite elbow here. We'll do it one last time. Nice deep inhale to lengthen. As you exhale, we're hinging for 4, 3, 2, 1. Taking a breath here. It's quite challenging for your balance. Stay nice and strong in the feet. Pushing the feet away from each other. Coming up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing the arms. Stepping that left foot forward. We're going to inhale, fingertips to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, stepping back into your downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out a bit through the heels here. You might notice that right leg feels very different to the left. I'm going to come through our slow vinyasa. So drawing shoulders over wrists, high plank. Releasing the knees down, bending the elbows, chin and chest comes down, either up into your baby cobra or pressing a little higher this time. Lovely, tucking the toes under, back into your down dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. And from here, we're going to walk to the top of the mat, but see if you can keep straight legs here. So you're bringing one foot at a time, keeping your straight legs as much as you can. Coming all the way to the top of the mat. And then bending the knees, forward fold. Nice generous bend in the knees now, so you can almost bring the torso onto the upper thighs. You're going to bring the hands underneath each feet. So the backs of the hands are on the floor, fingertips pointing towards the body. Sliding the hands underneath the feet. And the toes should come up to the very top of the wrist creases here. So you're pressing down into the balls of the feet, keeping the gaze between the knees as opposed to looking at the feet. As you inhale, you're going to lift those sit bones nice and high, straighten the legs, nice hamstring stretch here as well as a shoulder stretch. Taking a couple of breaths here. As you exhale, releasing all the way down, bending the knees. We're doing that one last time. Inhale to lengthen the legs, drawing the sit bones up high. Breathing deeply into the back body here. It's like a standing forward fold. Exhaling to bend the knees, releasing one hand at a time, bringing the hands up onto the shins, find that length in the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to bring fingertips all the way to sky, palms together. Exhale down to heart center. Taking 2 breaths here. Closing the eyes down if that feels nice. Releasing that energy down through the soles of the feet. And then when you're ready, releasing the arms alongside the body. We're stepping that right foot back now. So quite a narrow stance for our pyramid pose. Left foot's pointing towards the top of the mat, right foot slightly turned out. You'll notice that right hip might start to come round. So you're drawing that left hip back, right hip forward. Placing the back of that left hand onto the sacrum as we inhale, right fingertips to sky. Really stretching to reach here. And as you exhale, you're hinging at the hips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe the fingertips are hovering, that's fine. Don't lock out that left knee. Bring a little micro bend into that left knee. Keep your connection with your breath. We're coming up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing at the top. So when you come into these pyramid poses, experiment with the feet, what works for you, because it's all in the feet with the balance. So it might be that you find when you're coming down, it feels better to draw the feet together, or it might feel better to draw the feet apart. So just experiment what works for you. But whatever you're doing, you are engaging the feet either towards each other or away from each other. It makes a huge difference with your balance here. Inhaling to reach. Can't get my words out. Exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing here, don't lock the knee out. As you inhale, push the feet away from each other. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that right arm lifted, lifting the left hand now. Inhaling to reach. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe you're hovering the hands, that's okay. A little bend in the left knee. Exhaling to bring the forehead towards the knee now. Pushing those feet away from each other. Inhaling to lift the gaze, lengthen the spine. Exhaling, forward fold. We're coming up now for 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing the arms down, we're bringing them behind the back. Coming into our last pyramid pose now, holding the elbows here. So this one always challenges your balance more because you haven't got the arms helping you. So really use the feet, whether that's drawing them together or drawing them apart. You're really engaging the feet here, solid foundation. Inhaling to bring the gaze up. Exhaling to hinge for 4, 3, 2, 1. Little micro bend in that left knee. Forehead towards that left knee. Nice deep breaths here. And as you inhale, we're coming up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Taking a moment to pause, releasing the arms, stepping that right foot forward. Inhaling, fingertips to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, stepping back into your downward facing dog. Option to rest here or to come into your vinyasa. Taking whatever option feels good for you. We'll take a couple of breaths now in our down dog. If you like, you can release down into your child's pose. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Just taking this time just to come back to your center. Tune in, noticing how your body's responding to the practice. Pyramid poses can be quite challenging. You can really feel that deep stretch in the hamstrings. And also it's quite challenging for your balance as well. Just taking a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly meet back in our downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, right foot to sky, bend that right knee, step that right foot forward, and we're going to inhale up into our warrior one. So keep releasing that left foot down, the back foot down, generous bend in the knee. Keeping that breath in the belly here. And as we exhale, we're going to release the hands down. We're going to set that back foot in a little closer. We're coming into our triangle pose. So both legs are straight. They're in the exact same position as they are for our pyramid pose, except with our triangle pose, we bring the left hip back, whereas in pyramid pose, we square the hips to the front of the mat. So we're going to bring the arms out at shoulder height, bringing the gaze towards the right fingers. Nice deep inhale, exhaling to reach out. And as you exhale, bringing the back of that right hand onto the inside of the right shin. Left fingertips to sky here. If your neck is okay, bring your gaze up to that left thumb. Any neck or shoulder issues, you can place that hand, left hand on the left hip, drawing that left shoulder and that left hip back. Taking a couple of breaths here. Lovely. We're going to inhale all the way back to center, bringing that right palm to sky now. We're coming into our reverse trikonasana. So keeping the legs where they are, bringing right fingertips to sky. Your gaze up towards that right hand. And as you exhale, we're going to reach out one last time, coming back into our triangle pose. Keeping your connection with your breath. As you exhale now, you bring that left hand down. You're going to frame that right foot. So you're drawing that right hip back now, that left hip forward. Find the length in the spine. And as you exhale, bring the forehead down towards that right knee. Back into our pyramid pose. Engaging the feet, pushing the feet away from each other. We're going to come back up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the arms down, step that left foot forward, back into Tadasana pose. Grounding through the soles of the feet. Inhale, we're going to bring fingertips to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half. Exhale, forward fold. Just stepping back into your downward facing dog. Option to come through your vinyasa or to rest. Taking a couple of breaths in your downward facing dog. And then we're going to lift that left foot now, three-legged dog. Bend that left knee and step through into your Virabhadrasana 1. You're releasing that back foot down, fingertips to sky, drawing that left hip back, right hip forward. As you exhale, releasing the hands down, stepping that right foot in a little closer. Both legs are straight now, right foot slightly turned out, drawing that right hip back, left hip forward, bringing the arms in line with the shoulders, gaze towards that left hand. Nice deep inhale, exhaling to reach out, bringing the back of that left hand onto the inside of the left shin, right fingertips to sky. Any neck or shoulder issues, placing right hand on right hip. So we're drawing this right shoulder and that right hip back, so we're trying to touch that imaginary wall behind us. Lovely. Inhaling to come all the way back up. Coming into our reverse trikonasana now. Reaching left fingertips up to sky. Nice side body stretch. Right hand taking hold of that right leg. And as you exhale, reaching back out. Coming back into our trikonasana. Right fingertips to sky. Taking 2 breaths here. Lovely. As you exhale, you're releasing that right hand down, framing that left foot. So notice how the legs are the same, but you're drawing that left hip back now, right hip forward. Pyramid pose, releasing the forehead down towards the knee, engaging the feet. So drawing the feet away from each other, nice and strong in the legs. Inhale to find find your length in the spine. Exhaling to release forehead back down to the knee. Engaging the feet as we inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. As we exhale, bringing the arms down, stepping that right foot forward, Tadasana pose. Closing the eyes, taking a couple of grounding breaths here. Next inhale, we're going to bring fingertips to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping back into your downward facing dog. Option to come through your final vinyasa now, or you can rest. Taking any last movements or stretches that feel good for you in your downward facing dog. And then when you're ready, coming to rest in your child's pose. Keeping the knees together, bringing the forehead down to the earth, arms alongside the body. We'll take a few grounding breaths here. Just allowing yourself to slow everything down. Taking 2 more breaths. And when you're ready then, just gently beginning to lift the forehead, coming back to sit on the heels. And we're going to come to sit down. We're going to come back into our forward fold, just noticing if there's any difference in the body here. You're on the sit bones again. We're going to inhale, fingertips to sky. Exhale to hinge. Keeping the gaze on the toes. See if you can lift out the hips, find that length in the spine. Notice if the hamstrings feel any different now. Breathing a little deeper into the back body here. As we inhale, we're going to come all the way to centre, bringing the hands behind us, bending the knees. We're going to come into our reverse tabletop, feet are hip distance apart. Pushing into the hands and the feet as you lift the hips to the sky, either gaze on the knees or the ceiling. Strong in the shoulders. Exhaling to release the hips back down. Going into our last forward fold. Grounding the heels into the mat, bringing fingertips to sky. Exhaling to hinge at the hips. Keeping that lift out of the hips here. Lengthen the spine. Nice deep breaths into the back of the body. Next inhale, coming all the way back to centre. Hands come behind us, fingertips pointing forward. Big toes together as we inhale to lift the hips to sky, bringing the soles of the feet down to the earth. Exhaling to release all the way back down. We're going to come to lie on our back body now, keeping the knees bent. And just releasing the whole of the upper body down onto the earth. So we're going to come into our shoulder stand now and then into plow pose. So if you're not feeling like shoulder stand today, you can either bring your legs up the wall or you can just lift the legs up. If you've got a block, you can bring the block under the sacrum to give yourself a little bit of a lift. If you know how to come into shoulder stand, then just come into it by yourself. If you want me to demonstrate for you, I'm going to do that now, but please make sure that you watch the demonstration before coming into the pose, because when you're in shoulder stand, there's a lot of pressure on the neck. The same with plow pose. You should never be turning the neck when you're in shoulder stand or plow pose. So if you're coming into shoulder stand with me, we're going to lift the hips and you bring the hands to rest on the sacrum. So you're bringing the knees towards the forehead here, walking the elbows in as close as you can. Getting a nice stable base here first with the hands.
And then when you're ready, you're lifting one foot at a time up towards the ceiling. You're keeping your gaze either on the belly button or the toes, not turning the head, and you can walk the hands further down the back body toward the shoulders. Stay in here for a few breaths. Nice one to release the legs and the ankles. Might feel quite tight, like there's pressure in the throat, so if you're not used to shoulder stand, it can feel a little overwhelming to start with, so don't stay in it too long. If you're used to shoulder stand, then enjoying those deep breaths, taking those breaths down to the base of the lungs. And when you're ready, we're going to release out into our plow pose. So you're bending the knees, bringing the knees towards the forehead, and then just allowing the feet to come behind the head. Now it might be that some of you can bring the feet all the way down. If that's the case, you can release the hands. If the feet are hovering, then you're just going to keep the hands on the lower back. So plow pose is one of those poses that in the evening when I do it, my feet easily come down to the earth, and in the morning they hover. So I don't force myself into the pose. I'm accepting that this is where my body is at in the morning. When you're ready to come out of the pose, bringing the hands either side of the mat, and you're slowly uncurling, keeping big toes together as you straighten the legs, lowering the legs all the way down. Lovely. We're going to come into a fish pose to release the neck, creating a diamond shape with the index finger and thumb. You're bringing that underneath the sacrum. Pressing into the elbows, you're inhaling to lift up, bringing big toes together, drawing the chest nice and high. As you press into the elbows, bringing the crown of the head towards the floor. So there's no weight in the head. Elbows and forearms are doing the work here. Nice one to release the throat in a counter pose after shoulder stand. When you're ready, we're lifting the gaze back to the toes, releasing all the way down, bringing the arms out to the sides, and getting nice and comfy for your final relaxation pose of Shavasana. Taking this time now to let go of your practice, to let go of your breath, and just allowing yourself just to be. Gently now, beginning to bring your awareness back to your body. Beginning to deepen your breath and taking any gentle movements or stretches here that feel good. And when you're ready, just meeting me back in a seated posture, bringing palms of the hands together at heart center. We'll finish our practice with 3 deep inhales through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep inhale. last inhale. Taking a moment to come back to your reason for practicing yoga. And taking a moment to be grateful for your practice. Namaste. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you've got happy hamstrings now and they're not feeling as tight. Enjoy the rest of the day. Hopefully the sunshine stays with us.